Today is October 14th, 2021, and this is your daily Venom 2 update. So this is the big one. This is where I'm going to be talking about what could potentially happen with, the future of Venom and the Sony Spider-Man universe, whatever they're calling it, and the MCU. Because, you should know this by now, spoiler alert, the post-credit scene, or really mid-credit scene, for Venom 2 was Venom's in a hotel, Venom and Eddie are in a hotel room, they're talking, saying stuff, some vaguely multiverse stuff, Venom talking about universes, and then they get, from what it appears to me, they get sent to a different universe, and in this new universe, they're watching news footage of Spider-Man's identity being revealed to be Peter Parker played by Tom Holland. So, from what I've perceived, is that Venom literally just popped up in the MCU, which kind of seems like what's going to be happening to other villains in No Way Home. Villains such as Alfred Molina's Doc Ock, Jamie Foxx's Electro, Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin. These characters are going to be leaving their universe somehow and ending up in the MCU to encounter Spider-Man. I feel like this is also what happened with Venom and Eddie Brock. So this, of course, teases future interactions between Spider-Man and Venom. I know there were people talking about how maybe this version of Venom would interact with Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man instead of Tom Holland. And I think I like this. I think I like this better with Tom Holland. I think Tom Holland's Spider-Man will go good with Tom Hardy's Venom. And plus, with Andrew Garfield, if they were to do a symbiote story, I would have preferred that they had taken Flash Thompson, done Agent Venom, because I do think the Flash Thompson in the Amazing Spider-Man was the best Flash Thompson we've gotten of the three versions of Flash Thompson. I'm not going to be saying his name anymore, because geez, that's terrible. Anyway, yeah, and we already got a Venom with Tobey Maguire. If they were going to do something, make a fourth Spider-Man movie, I wouldn't want them to do just Tom Hardy's Venom pop up. I would just want a different villain. If they were to do a fourth of the Raimi Spider-Man, maybe do a Carnage. That always kind of seemed like maybe they were going to be heading towards that at some point. I know the planned Spider-Man 4 was, maybe going to be Bruce Campbell, Mysterio, or John Malkovich, Vulture, with Anne Hathaway as, like, Vulture's daughter, who's also a Vulture. I don't know. Of course, Blizzard, they had Kurt Connors roaming around there in Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Man 3. But, yeah, I think this Venom and Tom Holland Spider-Man, I think that works out best. Now, what does this actually mean? When will we see him? I don't think Venom is going to be in Spider-Man No Way Home. Definitely not like a significant part. I know they're potentially doing a Sinister Six for No Way Home. I don't think he'll be part of the Sinister Six. I feel like we pretty much already know the Sinister Six in No Way Home is going to be Sandman, Green Goblin, Doc Ock, Lizard, Electro, and Rhino. I think we pretty much got that set. That's going to be that's what it seems like our Sinister Six will be. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if we see Eddie Brock or Venom in the Spider-Man No Way Home end credit scene. That, a cameo of Venom in the movie, I could see that happening. Uh, I mean, I think it could just be something as simple as Eddie arriving in New York. Show that Eddie's in New York now as well, because if you think about it, the villains that I mentioned before, Doc Ock, Green Goblin, Sandman, they were all in. The last time we saw them, they were all in New York. So when they get transported from their old universe to this new one, they're going from New York to alternate New York. Eddie Brock Venom, he was anyway. Eddie Brock Venom, he was not in New York. He was in some South American country, I think, Mexico maybe. I don't know, but wherever he wasn't in New York. So if he's in Mexico, he's going to be sent to alternate universe Mexico. So Venom won't be in the events of No Way Home simply because he's not there at the time. He's traveling to New York, so the end credit scene would be Venom in New York, arriving in New York. But yeah, that could potentially happen. So I don't think Venom is going to have any part larger than a cameo in No Way Home, even if a cameo, maybe not even a cameo. Although people are going to be kind of expecting that, given how close these movies are releasing. People are expecting a lot from No Way Home. They're expecting 3 Spider-Men and Daredevil and 17 villains. So I feel like people are going to get disappointed about something. Now comes the question of when do these characters interact in which movie, because you have 2 potential possibilities. You have Venom appearing in Spider-Man 4, Spider-Man Home 4, whatever home theme they would call it, the sequel to No Way Home. Or you have Spider-Man appear in Venom 3, whatever the title of the 3rd Venom movie would be. I think I would prefer Spider-Man appearing in the 3rd Venom movie. I think that seems more likely, especially with Sony and how Sony is and wanting to have that character. I don't think Spider-Man would be the main villain of that movie. I think they would come into conflict and then eventually team up, potentially to face off against Toxin. Because again, I've mentioned Patrick Mulligan previously. It teases him becoming Toxin in some way. I think it'll be different from Carnage and Riot, just like how Riot was, just like how Carnage was different from Riot in the first Venom movie. So whatever little twist or spin they will do on Toxin, I think that could be the villain of a 3rd Spider-Man movie a 3rd Venom movie that Spider-Man and Venom would have to team up and face against. That seems most obvious. I don't know if that's what's going to happen. That's what I would want to happen. I'm kind of leaning, based on what I've heard, like interviews from like Andy Serkis or other people. I think Venom might appear in an MCU Spider-Man 4, and then we'll continue to get solo Venom movies. So like we'll have Toxin in Venom 3, but Toxin will be the main villain of Venom 3, and Spider-Man won't appear. That is kind of what I think is going to happen, but I would rather Spider-Man appear in Venom 3. I mentioned Toxin potentially coming back. I feel like Shriek had a more uncertain fate. It kind of implied that she was dead, but I wasn't like, is she dead? I don't know if they would bring her back. I don't think her character was well liked generally. Maybe they could do some sort of redemption for the character. I mean, the portrayal of the character, not the character herself being redeemed, just portraying her a little bit better. You look at some of like the I don't know, but There is, of course, potential for Carnage to return. That would be interesting to see. I mean, it did appear that they really killed him good. You know, they ate the symbiote and then they ate his head. But from what I understand of Carnage, I don't know a whole lot about Carnage in comics and whatnot. I know a lot of it is like blood. So just the fact that his headless body is there and there's blood in that body, that could, regenerate or something and grow his head back, and the symbiote would return somehow. I don't know. And of course, there could also be different Carnages. Once we're crossing over into the MCU, we could see another version of Carnage who may or may not be played by Woody Harrelson. I don't know. I think it would be interesting to see a Cletus Cassidy that wasn't played by Woody Harrelson. Not that Woody Harrelson did anything wrong. It's just, nothing wrong with variation. We've had three Spider-Man and 2 Venoms. Why couldn't we have 2 Carnages? This is all kind of like wishful thinking for me, because I still want to see Spider-Man and Venom team up to fight Carnage. That's all I've really ever wanted to see in a movie. If that were to happen on the big screen, I could die happy. But yeah, I hope we do. I don't know. I hope we do return to the Venom universe at some point, because like Venom will have his little foray in the MCU and meet up with Spider-Man, and I hope he does come back. Although there is that No Way Home theme, some people thinking that might pertain to these people that don't belong there, like the 2 other Spider-Men and the villains. They're not from this universe. Maybe there's no way for them to get to where they belong. They're stuck there now. That would be a little disappointing, because I would like to, revisit these characters, the side characters that we met. Anne and her fiance Dan. Because their names are too similar. I can't say Anne and Dan. That sounds weird. But anyway, what else? I'm just gonna try and keep talking until maybe my phone runs out of memory space and it just stops recording the video.